bad. Well, we won't be on here too long today, so I know it sounds like a lot going on there, and I have some things going on here. But it's good to see you again in the course room. And I'll give, since you're here, whoever else happens to zoom in here, give them a chance to ask any questions or anything like that if they want to. And I'll go over a little bit of, it's week 3, so really this is the middle week. By the end of this week, we will be halfway finished with the course. That's the 3rd week. And I think it's been great so far. Everyone's been doing a fantastic job. My impression so far is the students are getting an idea of, well, actually, I guess what social psychology is, as well as how important it is and how we can use it in our lives every day. Even as social psychologists, I think the exercises on the commercials were good. I think people chose good commercials. Hopefully, you got a chance to read some of the other students' posts and things like that. If you are interested in things like that, you can really see how psychology to frame their message and appeal to a large audience and determine how to use their audience and things such as that. So with that, I'll give you a chance, Andrea, to speak up and see what's going on in your life and how it's going for you in the course. What questions you have?
Oh, I'm good. Dr. Nichols, I just wish that more people would come to the class. I looked over our recording. I took over the whole class meeting with my mess. But I just want everybody to come. This is my second time going about the course, but my first time I wasn't really involved in it. I can fairly say that. Actually, I was scared of it. I'm just gonna keep it, real. But I would like to know my other classmates and stuff like that. But then it brought back. Y'all gave me a video this week where the man was in the park dancing by himself, and then everybody else joined in. I'm just praying that maybe that might happen.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It does make it a lot better because we can get some interaction, and I can go over and lecture, but most of those things are in your notes anyway. So, I mean, that's just kind of me sitting here boring people with my conversation. I'll hit the high points and try and give you something that you can use. But when we have that interaction from your fellow learners, it really does make a much more interesting Zoom class. You're right. So I talk a lot about Robert Cialdini. I mentioned him last week, and that was part of the how people got their points by getting his 6 principles of persuasion. But the work that he does, not just him, of course, but the kind of work that he does is really used by marketers and advertisers. In fact, he is professor, they say, of psychology and marketing. So you really wouldn't have very good marketing without the idea of psychology. So psychology is pretty important. I touched on a couple of your commercials, Andrea. Everyone chose good commercials, and I brought out some things that maybe you thought of or weren't surprised about. I don't know, but the way they dress up the actors, they put lab coats on them, and I mentioned people say that I'm not really a doctor, but they're dressed like a doctor, so it shows that authority. So that's there. This week, have you put in your for this week's discussion questions, Andrea? Have you gone in?
I got a grandbaby down here. You can't see him, but he messing with stuff. Go.
That's his job.
Okay, now what is? Yeah, say it again. He's running now.
Have you had a chance to take a look at the discussion questions?
Yes.
For this week?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, I got kind of a good idea on what they're talking about because I've been trying to. I'm sticky noting. I ain't gonna lie, hindsight and different stuff like that, and I'm trying to get them all in in their own order and not get them all balled up inside of my head.
Sure, sure.
You know what I mean? Because I'm still trying to do that, and I gotta put my sticky notes to say what, because like, okay, attitude has hysterics. Okay, well, with that, it comes a whole line of other hysterics. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So my one of them is telling us to use that in an important decision that we made and find out what method did we use. Well, I'm getting them all mixed up, so I don't really, yeah.
Yeah. Well, right now it seems a little confusing. I think once you kind of get them laid out there, and I like the sticky notes, but I also like. Years ago when I was a student, I went and got a bunch of 3x5 cards. That was much better for me. But you use what you like. Sticky notes are working for you, then stay with them, of course. But it really is looking at the decision. Decision-making model and the heuristics that you use. Do you sort things according to priority? Do you put things in columns? Do you consult with relatives or loved ones? And so it really, because we make these decisions all the time, and some of them are big, like coming back to school is probably a big decision for you. How did you come to realize I'm going to go back to school? Or, is it, something that you'd always wanted to do? So you weigh out the time burden, if you will, the financial burden, and compared to the benefits. So you do like a cost-benefit analysis. So that's one of the heuristics. Okay, so yeah, it's going to cost me some money. I'm going to have to put some time into this. I can't just relax and maybe watch TV or chill. So I'm just going to have to work on this. But at the end, then I'm going to have, what am I going to have? Okay, the sort of the non-financial resources, the satisfaction of accomplishing a big goal. The satisfaction of having something tangible, that degree that I can show people and talk to people about, and perhaps get a better job, or whatever the case may be, depending on what it is. So that's one of the decision-making models that you go through. Is this okay? It's going to cost me a lot, but I'm not doing this necessarily for myself, but for my kids and my grandkids, perhaps. Or is it a matter of just getting personal development? Is it just a matter of me, if I'm not, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be spending more time in church perhaps, or, like I went through Bible studies the last couple of years and it's been great, but now I'm going to shift my attention here. So you just kind of go through that and actually put on paper or in writing, black and white, how do I make my decisions? Because that's important to realize. And we do it sort of automatically. We don't really we call it metacognition, or metacognition is what we call it. One of the other things that is discussed in some of the writings is decision fatigue. So it's important to know how we make decisions, because there's a lot of things in the literature now, Andrea, about decision fatigue, from executives to moms to grandmoms, even from deciding what we wear in the morning. Okay, we don't think that's a huge deal, but it's like, okay, I got to decide that. I got to decide what to have for breakfast, and I got to decide, am I going to go this way or that way? These are all just decisions you make, and it does, to an extent, wear on you, on all of us. It's like a paper cut. Yeah, some people say paper cuts are the worst. Well, no, paper cuts aren't the worst. Like that chainsaw is the worst. You know what I'm saying? But when you got like a paper cut, that's all those small decisions. So some of the folks now, like Mark Zuckerberg, he's the guy who developed Facebook. He wears basically the same thing every day, because he says, I don't have time to make decisions on what to wear. They wear jeans and a plain colored t-shirt, right? Mm-hmm. So because he just says, yeah, that's a decision I don't want to have to make it. Day after day, week after week, that wears on me. It just takes something away. So that's the reflection for it. So yeah, don't get overwhelmed with it. Just kind of go through the steps of, again, something you decide to do. When I got married, okay, I was a little older. I've been single. I've never been married. I was in my 30s already. I love the girl. I was with my girlfriend and my girlfriend. And so I went through the whole thing. Well, what am I going to do? She wants to get married. If I don't ask her to marry me, she's one or two things going to happen. She's not going to be happy, or she's going to leave me for somebody else. And then, so I said, okay, well, what does it all mean? I don't have a problem getting married. I want to have kids. So all those things, I sort of did a, you might call a cost benefit analysis on that, and weighed it out and said, yeah, then I'm going to get married. And I've been, obviously very happy, almost 25 years now. So as you run through that, just kind of reflect on
yourself. You called it a cost benefit?
Yeah. Again, that's my term. It's, usually used in business, but for school, like I said, getting married, which is, not good vernacular to use, obviously, but like if looking at it real logically, because this decision making is using the cognitive part of your brain, which is that logical part, right? And not that emotions don't play a part in it, they do. And that's what you kind of see as you go through it. So again, like for me, like I would have been very happy just to keep dating. But I say, you know what? I'm not going to stay this age, right? I'm not going to stay this age, so I'm going to keep getting older. So am I really going to be happy just, continuing to date? And obviously no, because I was going to get older, and that, you gotta man up and, grow up. So as you go through that and looking at the heuristics and things like that, and go, using the textbook and other things online, just try and enjoy it and not get overwhelmed. And, whatever you put down, I'll reflect back, and, if there's a big problem, I'll let you know, but there hasn't been so far. So don't think there will be.
Okay. Like some of these things that are in here, like framing a decision and different stuff, different things. Well, I'm just gonna put it like this. Some people just like attribute procession and stuff like that. The discussion question didn't mention that type of stuff.
Right.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to read it all and try to get it all in. But then when it comes to the question, this is my whole problem with testing too.
Right.
When it comes to the question, I'll be like, well, that didn't ask me. I don't know what that is. Like it has on there about, I wish you had the screen up, cognitive something. I think it's conclusion or something like that, but it's not the word and term that it is that's in the book. Right? It's different. It says it causes something else. And I'm wondering, am I reading it wrong or what? That's the only reason why I'm getting the sticky notes. Okay, say like the halo effect. Well, it's known for another name, right? Yeah, right?
Well, I'm trying to think right now. No, people call it the halo effect is we tend to put the best light on, our decision, right?
Okay, now let me get it right. Okay, it says another dimension of attitude hysterics is a halo effect, a general bias. That's what I mean when I say it's something else. Right. Okay, can I use general bias if I forget the word halo effect?
Right, not exactly, because what they're talking about there is the bias is we put things in the best light, which isn't necessarily true. So the bias is on our part, each individual who thinks we made the right decision for the right reason, but we don't see the downside to it.
Yeah. Well, I got that understanding, but what I'm saying is it's just so many. Okay, these different professors is calling something,
right,
and the other team is saying something else. But then I find out that both of them mean about the same, don't they?
Yeah, well, they do, and people have their own ways to explain it, and they choose their own vocabulary and things like that. Yeah, so I think what I hear you say is these guys are just kind of doing their own thing. They're really saying the same thing. So in that regard, yes, you're. It just depends
Okay.
on what school of thought. So yeah,
Because
you're
I
on
don't want to get confused and
right.
be overthinking this
Right.
thing to the point.
Exactly.
Because see, the videos automatically line up everything, right?
Right.
But then when I read the book,
Yeah.
it's saying the same thing, but they're using different words.
And you're going to have that
And
sometimes. Yes. And it's a
yeah,
problem.
it's weirding me out.
No, it's a problem. So what I would suggest really right now is don't, sometimes I say don't Einstein it, like don't get into the minutia of it. So yeah, if the
Yeah.
clear to you, then use that as your base.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm trying to think like a doctor or something.
Yeah, don't
That's
do
not
that.
cool.
Don't do that.
That's not cool. And
Don't
it's
do
really
that. Yeah, I know.
it's really messing me
Yeah,
around.
well, you have you set high standards for yourself, Andrea. So don't let that get you down. Just follow the videos. It'll unfold as you go along your career.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's what I chose to do, and then what the little the sticky notes is to mark the pages where I got that.
All right.
Yeah, that's not to write down the definition or anything.
Okay.
It's to let me know what it goes with what and what goes with where,
Sure.
Yeah, and then the different color pens, so I'll know, because it's a lot to social psychology, you know what I'm saying? And it's different phases on cognitive.
Yeah.
The cognitive development of this thing, framing and priming and different stuff, and I know that framing is for the most part that a person get say like some certain words. I deal with about an hour and a half, and I deal with some kind of words, whether negative or positive, and the other person is doing the other side. And then when they're asked the same general question, normally the other person is going to say the negative stuff that they've been listening to the whole day, and then the other one might come with a positive outlook on the, on the other day, and then they switch places.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah,
and
sure.
then yeah. So I'm learning. I'm just taking my time about it. The things that interest me, that really I find that fascinating, that a person can sit in a place and be actually framed to do something. You understand what I'm saying? They can be framed to do something. If I sit up and say something enough, like I said, like a baby, they'll take it in like a sponge and use it. So we were talking about, as far as us being African Americans, it's no big thing that African Americans get down on hip hop, right? And they was like, yeah, we like the hip hop, and the Caucasians like rock and hard rock, but that's not necessarily so.
Right.
But if you be around people enough, you will learn to like that instead of liking the other one, because you never experienced the experience to be around that.
Right.
That stuff. Yeah, I've been bumping it off of my family and stuff, and they trying to help me through this class, because they love me enough to do that. And we was like, yeah, that's the way that's what social psychology is all about.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to figure out what makes people change their beliefs in such a way, to where they would say one thing 1 minute, and then they live around you for about a year, and then they change their whole view on how you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or how they were thinking in the first place. If they didn't like the thing, then eventually they'll start liking the thing, that they really despised in the first place, because they're going to find some things that you liked about it. Right. You understand me? Or either like you and don't want to upset you about it. Right. So, yeah. I'm enjoying it.
That's good. No, the course is going well. I'm going to have to get out of here because they're going to close this place down. I got stuck away from home today. But no, good job. Keep it up. You know how to reach me. Through the message board, there's the best way. Or you got my phone number. I'll probably be making some additional calls this week. You're doing a great job. I commend you. I know you got a lot going on there. But yeah, you put up everything, and I appreciate you coming to the Zoom session. So a quick word of prayer, and then we'll be done, okay?
Okay.
Father in heaven, thank you so much for Andrea. I pray for her, and I pray that you watch over her and keep her safe from all harm and dangers. And I pray for her family, and that as she goes through this course, that you'll bless her in a very special way. Open up her mind to the knowledge that you want her to have, not me, Father, but you, and that you will clear the path that she is to walk according to your will. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Good night, Dr. Nichols. Thank you.